Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel leelawebdev. In this video, we will learn about some of the important concept in the Linux, that is about the su command. So the su command stands for the substitute user. So why we use this su command? So su command, short form substitute user, or some people will say it as a switch user also. It will allow you to temporarily change your current user session to a different user account within the same terminal session. So that means, for example, let's say that right now if you try to see who am I. So right now I was logged in into a test user. Okay. So right now we have two users in this account, that is one Leela and another one is test user. If you try to see, you will be able to see something like homepage. This is the homepage, right? If you go it like this and if you see here, so this is the user and this one is the another user. So these are the two users. Now if I want to log in with an Leela means, right now I am logged in with an test user. If you want to log in with an Leela means, what you need to do, so just simply you need to log out and you need to log in with an Leela user. So instead of doing it like this, so it will temporarily, so su command, it will temporarily switch the user in the same terminal from one user account to the another user account. That is, so why we use this one? It is primarily used for administrative tasks that require the privileges of another user, most frequently the root superuser account. So it is primarily used for administrative tasks that requires the privileges of another user, most frequently the root account, as we discussed. So what I want to explain you is, so that means, so whenever you want to do certain actions or anything within the place of another user means, then instead of logging out and logging again with another user, so you can use this su command. So that is one thing. So if you try to see here man su, I will try to explain you this one. So run a command with substitute user and a group ID. So that means, so with another user you can do it. How we can do this one is su, and you need to use an hyphen option and the username. So I will try to explain you here. So let's try to quit this one. So if you want to log in, so right now I am in the user. Who am I? If I try to check it, so I am in the user logged in as test user. So if I want to log in with the Leela means, so then what I can do here, su hyphen and I can say the username. Oh, sorry, su hyphen and I can say it like this, and it will prompt you for the password. So you enter the password. So that means the Leela username password, you need to prompt it. See, suddenly if you try to see, it has been logged in within leelawebdev. Now if you go to the home page for this one, so the home page for this one is the Leela account. Okay. So now if I try to check who am I, so it will be Leela. Now if I want to create something like in the CD desktop, if I want to create anything, something like touch file.txt or anything, so if I try to check here, see, this has been created with the username Leela. So that means in the same account that is logged in with the test user. So now I have been logged in within another one. So here the hyphen is the main thing, and also the full form notation is hyphen login. So this creates a login shell for the new user, meaning it fully loads their environment as if they logged in directly. So if you try to use this hyphen option, so that means it fully loads the environment with the Leela's environment, and you will be able to see that as if that user has been logged in directly like that. So that's one thing. If you don't log in with an hyphen, then what will happen? Let's try to see it. So if you want to get out from this Leela user account means, so what you need to do is just you can type exit. So you can directly log out from the user. Now you went back to your original user, that is test user. So if you directly log in with su Leela without hyphen option, then what will happen is it will prompt you for the password. So not a problem. But here if you try to see, still you are in the home directory only. So now which account you are, ls-l, if you try to see, so this one is in test user account. So if you try to go into test user account, so it will be in the test. So that means the environment, everything, it will be loaded the test user, but it will be logged in with a Leela. So you should never try it like logging with like this without using the hyphen. So why? Because it will mix up the environments like that. So if you try to see man su, and here you will be able to see for backward compatibility, and here you will be able to see su in all unprivileged non-set user in the version. So somewhere you will be able to see hyphen option, hyphen login, right? So hyphen l hyphen start the shell, clears all the environment variables except So like this, so you need to understand. So without hyphen, so always it is recommended to use the hyphen option only. That's it guys about this one SU thing. And the next one which I want to tell you is about the root user. In Ubuntu or the Linux operating systems, normally in the Linux operating systems or any operating systems, so now the root user in Ubuntu is also called as the superuser, is basically the administrator account for the entire system. So it has an unrestricted access and complete control over the everything in the system. So that means, for example, let's say that here in your system, if you try to see, there are two types of users, that is nothing but Leela and the test user. Apart from this user, so you also have another user in this Linux operating system or this Ubuntu operating system, that is nothing but root. If you try to go to the home page, okay, so here if you try to see ls-l, for all those things you will be able to see about this root, right? So generally in the Unix operating systems or in Ubuntu also you can log in with the root, but it is unsafe. It is not safe to log in with the root. Why? Because root has a complete powers to manipulate the data. So if you try to delete any wrong file or if you try to edit any wrong file, that is something like a system files or anything means, so it will create some issues in the booting of the system, or so it will create some issues. So that is the reason, so we will not log in with the root. But what we can do it is, so you need to have some situations. So what does this root user can do is, it can do anything. The root user can add or remove users, change system configuration, modify files with any permissions, and basically anything else you can imagine on the system. So unrestricted access. So unlike regular user accounts, the root user isn't limited by the file permissions. It can access and edit any file on the system. So why root access is special and potentially dangerous? So security risk. Because of the unrestricted power, using the root account is inherently risky. One wrong command with root privileges can damage the system or even render it unstable. So not everyday use. So root user is also for most of the tasks. Regular user accounts are sufficient. They can handle daily tasks like web browsing, using documents, and installing softwares from trusted resources, something like that. So that's one thing about the root user. So now, so I am telling you that we cannot use this root user. So then how can I use this? For example, say let's say that I want to use some permissions or anything. I want to execute. For example, let's say that I want to use, and without using the root system. So for example, let's say that if I use apt install update, apt install update, let's try to see whether I can able to access it or not. So here it is telling that permission is denied. So that means I cannot able to update the Ubuntu operating system. Why? Because the user which you are trying to see, it doesn't have any access. So he has insufficient privileges. So in this reason, if you want to install update or anything means, so then what I need to do? So for this reason, so we have a command that is nothing but sudo. Sudo means super user do, something like that we can say it. So do the things as a super user. So we will use a sudo, and you can do apt install update. So then it will ask you for password. So it will be valid for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes again it will ask you for the password. So like this it will update. Okay, so right now I am able to look at the package update, something it is saying. So just I want to explain to you. For example, let's say that you are in the test user, right? So let's say that what are the permissions for this one it is available means, so you can check something like sudo -l, I think. See the matching default interest. So it has granted all the permissions. So that means as a sudo user you can access something entirely as an root user. So now for example, let's say that I want to check the etc/sudoers. Okay, so this is the file available in the etc. So this is the sudoer files. So now here you will be able to see permission is denied. So why? Because we cannot able to read this file. So if I want to read this file means, so just you can use the sudo cat/etc/sudoers. That's it. No such file or directory. Okay, so let's try to, I didn't remember this file, cat sudoers. So this one only, right? Maybe this one only, I think. Permission is denied. So let's try to use the sudo. Yeah, so this is the file. So you will be able to see the root user and the test user is having all the permissions. Fine, right? So now so these are the two guys who is having all the permissions. If you try to use the sudo, for example, let's say that I will log in within Leela. So whether this Leela has permissions or not. So now here if you try to log in with anything, so now I want to do sudo apt or otherwise sudo cat /etc/sudoers, right? So this is the file I want to access. Now it is asking you for the password. Okay, let's try to find. Now here it is saying that Leela is not in the sudoers file. This incident will be reported. So that means, so all the users cannot able to use this sudo. So only the user which has been created at the first time, right? So the first time at the installation of the Ubuntu, that user can able to access the as a root privileges using the sudo. And if you want this one sudo means, so then what you need to do it is, so you need to create the user account as an administrator. So here if you try to go to the settings, I will try to show you. In the settings you will be having the user section which we have created, the user section. These are the two users which we will be creating and unlock. Okay, test 1 2 3 4. So let's try to log in. And here if I want to create an add user, so here you'll be having two types of users, standard user and administrative user. Standard user means it's a user, so we cannot able to access within sudo thing. If you create the user with the administrator means, so he will be having a permission with a sudo privileges. So this is one thing which I want to explain you. Sudo command is a command, so in which the user can able to do the root privileges. So whichever the things which we do not have permission in the thing, if you want to implement means we can use the sudo. So that is one thing which I want to explain you. So this is all about the sudo command, su, and also the root user in the Ubuntu. Hope you understood about this concept. If you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.